Okay then.
All right.
So good evening, everyone. We'd like to thank you for coming back from your summer hiatus. Oh, I'm sorry, summer just started a couple of days ago. Anyway, tonight, I'd like to take this opportunity to do things correctly. We have a new member joining us, and we've taken the opportunity to introduce ourselves. So welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Rick, and I'm the chairperson de facto, because Ed wants to be vice president forever, and I'm okay with that.
Yes.
And so I think you've had a chance to meet Dick on the end of it. All right. So usually we try to stay focused, and what helps us do that is one Michelle right in front of us, okay? To make sure that we have all the stuff we need to look efficient and proficient.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. And has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yeah, I have one correction.
Okay.
On page 5, the paragraph that starts, Ms. Hurley does not believe that is enough. I think that's if enough.
Where is it, Dick, again?
The fourth paragraph on
paragraph.
page 5,
Yes?
Mrs. Hurley does not believe that is enough modification, if enough modification. I may be wrong, but I just want to make
Shirley
sure.
does not believe that is enough modification to negate the comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
Mr.
correct.
Chairman, I also had a couple of minor corrections on page 4. The last sentence of the second paragraph says, "The front post for the balcony is out far enough that there is unimpeded area for a bird to walk past." I think that should say the front posts for the balcony are out far enough that there is unimpeded area for people to walk past, and I think that should be P-A-S-T.
Yes.
Also on page 4, I'm down, I don't know, let's count paragraphs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Commissioner Bauer asked, is drinks will be allowed on the balcony? I think is should be if. Commissioner Bauer asked if drinks will be allowed on the balcony. Other than that, I'm good.
Dick, do you have any other observations?
No, thank you.
Hearing none, I'll receive a motion to accept the minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes of the last meeting
Second.
That's as amended, yes?
as amended.
Thank you.
Are you a second?
I
I think Dick is second.
So Ken's going to get on the record.
Yeah.
It's been moved and properly seconded that the minutes be accepted as amended. All in favor? And I'm going to start with you on your end, Dick, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you. All right. We have no old business in front of us, am I correct?
Correct.
That is correct.
So we're ready to move straight into new business. And as always, Ms. Hurley, would you give us a review on that, please?
Yep. So this is a state law review for 600 Cherokee Street. The applicants are Sean and Jennifer Wilcott. This is the former Club Venom property that everyone is familiar with at the corner of 6th and Cherokee. This property is currently owned by the Leavenworth Land Bank, basically the city of Leavenworth. The land bank is just sort of a means for us to hold property to keep it tax-free. And the Wilcotts are purchasing this from the city. They're closing on that tomorrow and intend to turn it into a tap room for their Wilcott Brewing Company, which they already have one location of. And I know we're all familiar with it, but just to kind of refresh memories, here's the east side of the building, facing 6th Street. And then the lovely front of the building as it is now. So I'll just read through the description of the building. This is the description straight from the register when the property was put into the historic district. So the property consists of a 2-story brick building constructed in 1895. and it was most recently occupied by Club Venom. The building has 6 bays on both the first and second stories on the front of it. The first story storefront has an aluminum framed display system containing an entry door on the far west and a window filling out the remainder of the bay. The balance of the storefront contains large sections of glass. The corner entrance is on the east side of the building, and a single brick pilaster separates the 2 middle bays. An asphalt shingled canopy spans the width of the storefront and turns the corner to cover the entrance. Each second story bay contains a tall, narrow replacement casement sash in the original window opening and has a stone sill. A projecting course of brick and simple brick corbels are the only ornamentation on the building. The metal siding covers the secondary east elevation. And there is a modern rear addition to the building addressed as 216 South 6th Street, which has metal cladding on the north side of the building. So again, the applicant intends to turn the first floor of the property into a tap room for the Wilcott Brewing Company, and proposed exterior changes include demolition of the non-original section of the building. And let me get up the aerial here and zoom in just a little bit. So that would be this portion kind of on the northwest section of the building. That original brick building will stay, and then the portion addressed as 216 along 6th Street. And then this is sort of another addition that will be taken down, and that will make room for an outdoor patio area for the tap room. Proposed exterior change, okay, in addition to that, the other changes would be, let's see, replacement of a portion of the aluminum framed window system on the front elevation of the building with a glass roll-up door. Let me get, there we go. So existing up here, and then proposed down here. Removal of the black wooden sign band for the former Club Venom, and replacement of the metal siding on the east side of the building, and replacing that with wood siding. So existing, and then replacing that metal with some wood. And we've got pictures of their current location, and so going for this general look what they've currently got on their existing location. So we'll just run through the required reviews that we have to go through. We've got 10 categories. So the first is that a property shall be used for its historic purpose or be placed in a new use that requires minimal change to the defining characteristics of the building and its site and environment. The building was constructed as a retail structure, and there are minimal proposed changes to the defining characteristics of the building. Number 2 is that the historic character of a property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of historic materials or alteration of features and spaces that characterize a property shall be avoided. And there is no removal of historic materials proposed here. The windows proposed to be removed and replaced with a glass roll-up door are not original to the time period of the structure, and the proposed roll-up door maintains the visual continuity of glass spanning the storefront to keep a consistent look with what there currently is. The portion of the building proposed to be demolished is not an original part of the structure, and its removal will not alter any integral part of the historic structure. And the metal siding on the east side of the building proposed to be replaced with wood siding is again not an original historic material. Number 3, each property shall be recognized as a physical record of its time, place, and use. Changes that create a false sense of historical development, such as adding conjectural features or architectural elements from other buildings, shall not be undertaken. There are no such changes proposed. Number 4, most properties change over time. Those changes that have acquired historic significance in their own right shall be retained and preserved. And no removal or alteration of historic features is proposed. The portion of the building proposed to be demolished is not an original part of the structure and does not have any documented historic significance, and its removal will not alter any integral part of the historic structure. Number 5, distinctive features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize a historic property shall be preserved. There are no removal or alteration of historic features proposed. Number 6, deteriorated historic features shall be repaired rather than replaced. Where the severity of deterioration requires replacement of a distinctive feature, the new feature shall match the old in design, color, texture, and other visual qualities, and where possible, materials. Replacement of missing features shall be substantiated by documentary, physical, or pictorial evidence. And again, the window to be replaced in the first bay of the second story will match the existing windows, which are, again, not original to the structure. The windows proposed to be removed and replaced with the glass roll-up door are not original to the time period of the structure. And again, the proposed roll-up door will keep that same visual continuity that is currently there. Number 7, chemical or physical treatments such as sandblasting that cause damage to historic materials shall not be used. The surface cleaning of structures, if appropriate, shall be undertaken using the gentlest means possible. There are no such treatments proposed. Number 8, significant archaeological resources affected by a project shall be protected and preserved. If such resources must be disturbed, mitigation measures shall be undertaken. And no known significant archaeological resources exist for preservation. Number 9, new additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy historic materials that characterize the property. The new work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with the massing, size, scale, and architectural features to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment. And no new additions or new construction is proposed. The wood siding proposed to be installed on the east side of the building to replace the existing metal siding is intended to be differentiated from the original structure and will be compatible. And finally, number 10, new additions or adjacent or related new construction shall be undertaken in such a manner that if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment would be unimpaired, and no new addition or new construction is proposed. So if you have any questions for staff, I can answer those, and Sean and Jennifer Wilcott are also here, and they can talk a little bit about their project.
Okay, so before we go for staff input, I'd like to invite Sean and Jennifer to come up and share something with us about the project, if you don't mind. Good evening.
Well, good evening. My name's Sean Wilcott, it's my wife Jennifer. We are in the process of procuring the building at 600 Cherokee. Very excited, we've been working with the city commission now for a number of months to go through this process. And our intent with this process is to establish our second microbrewery, similar to keeping some of the characters that we've had and established with our first microbrewery up in Holton. So the project itself, the main structure, which is the two-story brick building, we're trying to bring it back to what we can on that. So we want to take down some of the black wooden siding around the front. We want to be able to replace some of the windows that have been boarded up and or replaced with some other wood sidings up on the second story. So we bring that back to character. And then one aspect to it that wasn't called out here, but I think was in some of the pictures in the packet, is also along the very top edge where we'll be putting a new roof on. The roofer has recommended coming around with a black cap for roof integrity. So that was also one of the items that we wanted to include on this as well. So the exterior, we're trying to minimize what we're doing. The wood siding is probably the largest change that we're going to have from a visual standpoint. And the intent to that is the existing metal siding that's on the property has some damaged locations, needing paint repair. And so to go through and replace that, we felt that it'd be best to try to match our existing structure to keep the branding with the existing building that we have today. So that's the outside, and then on the inside, we're looking to do a full renovation, both of what I'll call the Mike's CDs section, the original area, with the actual brew house and some gaming for kids. And then in the home video section, if you will, that area would become the actual tap room that we would have, where we would have the gathering space to sell our product on site. And then in the back corridor area, as was explained here a minute ago, the roof and the structure there is significant damage along with the concrete slab. And so we wanted to expose the original brick of the original buildings, and then try to make that also a feature that can be enjoyed as well. So we're looking to take the roof off. And since our original proposal, and again, the drawings that were put here have shown us a slight difference. Instead of demolishing all the walls, the neighbor has erected a cooler now right next to that wall.
Yeah, kind of coming up into this little service area.
Yes.
So instead of removing our entire wall to look at somebody else's cooler for their business, we want to keep most of the wall intact, and then we'll do some painting and some aspects of that, but keep the same intent of removing the roof and exposing that to an outdoor patio area. So we'll try to create an outdoor space as well as an indoor space.
What are your plans reference the second story?
So once we get the business established, the current plans right now on the second story, we'll completely renovate that as well, with the intent of putting what's called a maker space, is the intent at this point. Maker space is kind of an area where you would have kind of technology-driven aspects, 3D printers, electrical circuit boards, robotics, things of that nature, to where kids or home hobbyists have the opportunity to some of the technology that you may not be able to afford for your home use, but you have the opportunity in more of a club setting to be able to go through and expose to that technology.
Personally, I'd like to thank you for choosing this spot to put your business. I mean, it's a relatively good area to have it in, and you got some good spots on both sides. So we appreciate that, keeping Leavenworth, in good shape. So thank you for that.
So I'm from Leavenworth originally. I've got many generations of family on both sides that have been part of the community. My wife and I are raising our family in Holton. That's where we've kind of settled down. But with all the ties back to the area, I can tell you the city of Leavenworth has really done, there's a lot of energy in this downtown that was not there 25 years ago, back when I was living in this area.
Good.
20 years ago. It really is, and we're very excited at the opportunity to come be a part of that energy down in this community.
What do you attribute that to?
The downtown?
Yeah.
Having been gone, I can't tell you that. I don't have an honest answer to be able to answer that. I can tell you there's a number of shops downtown. I've seen bicycle shops and all sorts of shops. There's restaurants downtown. There's some activity down there. So there's a number of things. Back when I was a kid, I remember, Sadix Furniture. I remember there's department stores used to be down there, pharmacies. Antique Mall was down there at one point. So to me, that the energy that's going in down there is more of a, I don't want to call it a tourist area, but I think it's more of a community to where you can get out and walk from space to space. It's a different feel for sure.
Well, you're probably aware that you are getting into probably the most quote-unquote notorious building in the city of Leavenworth. I'm sure you're quite aware of that. So I will express the same opinions of my fellow Commissioner, Mr. Otto. I think it's good that we didn't blow it up and knock it down and turn it into a parking lot. If we can make a business work there. I've kind of followed this because I used to be on the city commission and understand the process and see how they're making you do certain things and holding your feet to the fire, so to speak, to make sure this project gets done. And so I'm glad our city commission is doing that. I have one question. Access to the patio. Is that going to be through the back door? How is that going to be from the street? How do you get into the proposed outdoor space?
So there's an elevation change from, I'll say, the Mike CD's area to the main home video area. There's
Right.
about a 36-inch elevation change between the two.
Yes.
So to be able to gain access, we're looking to construct I'll say an elevated floor for a small section, kind of along that wall area, or I'll say 2/3 of that wall. And then there'll be an ADA accessible ramp that starts down. Just due to that elevation change, we need about 60 linear feet of ramp space to
Okay.
be fully compliant. So we'll actually take a small grade to a landing and then rotate and change direction, that small grade again, landing, and then rotate, and then landing again. So that'll take you your elevation change up to that platform area. And then if you can imagine where the wall separates what is the proposed patio along with the proposed structure itself, right along that wall on the, would be west side of that wall, we're proposing to cut a doorway in right there that would access that patio into the landing space.
So you kind of anticipated my question.
Well, yeah, and that's interesting. You start cutting holes into old buildings to open them up for space. I suppose that the city will be working with you to inspect that to make sure we don't have a structural defect, because I own an old house and I got into a renovation and my builder said, you know, maybe we should get a structural engineer in here. It's like, yeah, maybe we should, so.
Yep, they've already been working with the
Yeah.
building inspection
Yeah,
division about
okay.
everything
Because there's
that's required.
Obviously, we all know the building is in bad shape and it needs a lot of work. And a nice young couple willing to step up to get your feet wet and hands dirty, huh? It's a good thing.
I was in there with the architect and we found 2 really cool old doors. One on that wall that Sean was mentioning, and then one that would maybe go into, I'm trying to convince Sean to make this original door, a door that can access into like the brewery, like right before the brewery.
Okay,
That way you can kind of get in and out that way. And really cool old windows with the brick. So if we exposed on the outside patio, you'll see all these old windows. I'm so excited. So we found them and they're hidden. They're hidden in all this old sheetrock or lath and plaster. And we're like, I think that's like a door or a window. And so we found a couple doors. So to answer that question, we might be in luck. We might be able to
that
like
would
take
be,
some
yeah,
original
that'd be great,
aspects.
yeah. You never know what you're gonna find when you get into these things, yeah, that's for sure.
What's your anticipated timeline to opening?
So, the building structure itself, I'm planning on actually hitting, so I'm the general contractor on it. I've done a couple of historical building restorations in Holton for our existing structure. So I'm the general and I have a series of subcontractors and we are, we're chomping at the bit, I'll put it that way. So we are ready to start, construction and we'll hit it. It'll be a 6-day-a-week, construction project. My goal is to have the structure basically where we're at. I would like to have it completed by October of this year. And then the brew house will be the wild card on how quickly I can get because I have to have some concrete footings put in for some tanks. And I need some trench drains cut in for just flow. That would be the wild card on how quickly we can get those in as well. But I definitely want to be serving beer out of the location before the end of the calendar year.
So your liquor license is not an impediment?
So we have a microbrewing license today, and so I've already reached out to the state to identify what needs to happen. And because we have a microbrewery license in existence that's in good standing, it's actually just a form that extends that to a secondary premise. So I'm able, for lack of better terms, I'm able to kind of cut in line from a liquor license standpoint. I cannot apply for that formally until we have possession of the property.
So tomorrow.
Tomorrow afternoon.
Yes.
And just to reiterate, this portion to be demolished. This is in the rear. It's not connected to the historical structure, so it's an exterior alteration that's not going to affect anything.
Right, it's not an integral part of it, and I'm not sure what year exactly that was put on, but it's not tied in any significant way, and it's not visible from any of the streets.
I wish I had my pictures. It's pretty much trash.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a building. 8 doors down. So I know
Yeah,
exactly.
you're familiar with that
I'm
alley.
familiar with that alley.
Yeah.
I have a question on the east side. The windows, there's been windows that have been covered up with the siding, but there's only one window that's currently there, and you're gonna keep that one window. What is that?
Was that
That window right there, what is that?
That is just a window that opens up into the second story for daylight into that room. It just opens up into the open room area. And
I mean, it sort of looks kind of strange, but it's the way it is. I mean, you're not changing anything. I understand that, so I guess I'd never paid attention to it before. You know, there used to be a club on the second floor there, was quite notorious as well. That's the building itself.
I believe I know
Might add.
the owner who had it about 30 years ago.
Okay.
So you're gonna keep the cladding on the side?
The metal
Right.
siding, looking to replace that with wood.
That's all wood there.
Yeah, that will
The
be,
cedar wood.
that would.
Yeah,
So
there's gonna
would be
wood.
looking to take that metal down and
Okay.
then come back with the
Mechanically
stand.
attached.
To kind of match what they've got on there.
So use the same
Hold on.
anchor points that they have currently for the metal, come
Okay.
back with a wood, and then be able to come back and attach the wood siding to that.
Okay. Oh, I got you.
Okay. I don't want to get too far off subject. What kind of beer do you brew?
So we have a range,
Okay.
being in the craft, in Holton, we have a room right now for 8 taps. And so we have a series of flagships, we have everything from an American wheat, IPAs, stouts. Right now I have our Oktoberfest fermenting for our Oktoberfest in September. Saturday, today's Thursday, yes, today's Thursday. Saturday I'll be brewing a dark lager, so we have a range of.
Are you familiar with the fact that Leavenworth at one time, well, way back when, there was a lot of breweries way back in the day, but recently we had a brewery here in town. It was purchased by a guy out of Kansas City, and I don't know
over at
whatever
Grinders.
happened to that, but they got some kind of a grant or whatever from the state, and they were canning beer here. And I don't know if that's still, if anybody's, I'm not sure what the
I don't
status of that
believe it's
building
in
even
use.
is. Is it, if it's
don't
open?
believe.
I don't
I don't
know.
think so.
Grinders is,
No, it's not.
Yeah,
not
I
open
don't
anymore.
think there's anything in there.
yeah, so I don't know if there may be some equipment in there that you might be able to use. I have no idea. Your wife says no. I can see her shaking her head no.
We,
We haven't looked at it.
we've been through the facility.
Have you?
And,
Okay.
In my opinion, for my brewing facility, I would not use a piece of equipment out of that structure.
Just
Good.
a curious thought. That's all.
Appreciate the feedback, appreciate the suggestion.
Well, I appreciate the thoroughness. Does anyone else have any other questions directed to them?
What kind of roof?
What exactly are glass roll-up?
Oh, like kind of a garage door
It's a
type.
garage door.
It's just
Yeah.
like a regular glass roll-up,
Yep.
okay. That's what I assumed, but like, I don't-
Yeah.
TPO.
TPO, okay.
We have it low to the, there was a couple ways we could have done it, but we decided we can open it up to the street. So if you guys do the wine walk or
Yeah.
there's parades, you just put a bouncer out there to make sure alcohol, unless you having an open container day, I don't know.
That sounds like a
You
great
could-
idea.
Walk in and walk out
Yeah.
right
Put
there.
that in.
That's also the area we're gonna have live music, because we already do live music at our facility right now. And then you can hear it from the street. It'll be really fun. Not like 18, 21-year-olds coming and, getting lit like that. That is not like the kind of bands we bring
Yeah.
in. We bring in bands of local bands, a lot of Kansas bands, Nebraska, and it's just very relaxed, and people bring their families in, and it's very enjoyable. It'll be fun.
Because you're also going to be co-located just right across the street from our
Right.
probably largest outdoor venue that's covered. But I really appreciate your being able to get us down in the weeds and woods, how you look at it, what your input is on the stuff that you discovered while you're wandering around in there, to make sure that the city gets the aesthetics as well as you're receiving the aesthetics out of that. So you're really to be commended on that, because I did drive by there today and I go, oh yes, anything. But I mean, we've grown a lot and we're continuing to grow a lot. And it's just kind of right in the center of I'm gonna say it, it's just unattractive. I won't say ugly. It's just really, really unattractive. And so the consideration tonight, and I had wondered about the 3-section piece, and now you've answered that question about how you're gonna, bring in resources, supplies for your business would be up through this super large door, because you're gonna need that kind of thing. So for me, does anyone else?
Well, I have a couple of comments. I assume you'll try and use as many local contractors for things that you need to contract for?
So, within the city code aspect of things, they have to be licensed in the city for one.
Yes.
So our electrical contractor, Schwinn Electric, he's here just north of town. Our plumbing contractor, and I'm gonna really screw things up here, so I'll just tell you. We have a plumbing contractor
Okay.
from Leavenworth. Our heating and air conditioning contractor is here in Leavenworth. I did use an outside roofing contractor. He's from Topeka. We have historical use with them, and they're licensed in here in Leavenworth, so we're gonna be bringing them in from out of town. And my drywall contractor is another one that we have a historical, which I don't have to have licensed in the city for that, but we're trying to use what we can locally.
Okay.
My
I think
older-
that's important to do that.
My older brother owns a custom cabinet shop in town.
Okay.
So he has, well, in the community, he's actually just outside city limits.
You have
So he's
access.
got a lot of access.
And I'm sure you're
relationships.
familiar with the historic tax credits that you may be able to use on this project.
I'm gonna have to.
I looked into it and, so there's a lot of work. I talked to Ken about it. I dug a little deeper into it, but I was really nervous because if you mess up on one thing that's not kept historic, you don't get accepted, period. And so this is a historical site, but my fear is that garage door and the brick on the other side closing up those windows. I don't know if they would allow that. Plus, when it comes to the ceiling, we have wood ceilings, but to be fire code, you either have to put a very expensive fire water
Suppression sprinkler.
system in, which we cannot do. And we cover up the floors and we don't have any pictures or proof that it used to be like a tin ceiling. I assume it might have been in the past. We can't keep the wood floor because it's not sturdy enough to put back over the 2 layers of sheetrock. I don't think that would be a game changer based off of fire standards and expectations, but I think the outside would be. I'm just nervous.
Have you had any contacts with the State Historic Preservation Office?
Yes,
Okay,
Katrina.
you've kind of been exploring that and
She kind of made me nervous.
okay, well,
Because
I'm just trying to offer you some
I know it's great and
fatherly advice maybe about
so like,
saving a
there's
buck.
no lighting that's historic in the building.
Okay,
It's so 80s and 70s. I don't know how to replicate the lighting. The ceiling, the floors, I think might be in tip-top shape if we can restore them. Because even the rafters underneath the flooring are in perfect condition.
If you apply for tax credits, you have to, before you start hammering and chiseling, you have to get that approved ahead of time, and then you can move
So
forward
there's
from
2
there.
parts.
But
I even
if you're
took all
not
the
gonna use
pictures
them,
and
that's
all
another
that.
story, and that's completely up to you,
Yeah.
obviously. There's no requirement to do that.
Having done that process with my church,
Yes,
it'll take you anywhere from 60 to 90 days just to get approval to start work.
and see, that was one of the
Yeah.
other problems and
Well-
the dilemmas. So what I'm also looking at
If
is,
you're
there's
lucky,
another
yeah.
grant in Leavenworth, that I looked at today that could be more for like advertising to get people to come in from out of state. Tourism grant, there's, your City of Leavenworth grant that I'm applying for, but I can't really submit it till tomorrow or Monday. And then there's a tax abatement thing I filled out.
There are a lot of resources, and
Yeah.
But I
that's
just
just one
can't
of
do
them.
anything, I
Right.
can't send it to you until it's
Understand.
closed and, we have a permit. So,
Okay.
but if there's anything else you wanna tell me, I am in search. I
would-
just think I
would
am terrified.
investigate the fire sprinkler requirement.
So there's a 10% rebate right now,
No, the
starting
requirement to
July.
have a fire sprinkler.
Oh.
Yeah, we've been in, from architectural design aspect of things, based on the square footage and the means of egress, by adding a secondary means of egress. right now, it appears that we can do a 5-hour separation with 2 layers of 5/8 inch drywall with seam tape, and we will not need to have the requirement for fire suppression.
Okay, architects.
Oh, is that what you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we had that
Yep.
covered.
So by having the secondary means of egress and the 5-hour separation, our square footage has us under the limit to require that.
Okay, well, that's good.
That's a very good,
Yeah, that's
Very good.
about 50 grand worth of good.
per floor,
Unless there's a grant out there for $50,000.
per floor.
If you find one less than,
Yeah. Ask me how. Okay.
Okay. So on behalf of this commission, thank you very much for, again, the detail. That's very important to us. I mean, I'm so well informed, I could probably do a commercial for you on it. Like, this is the real deal, okay? They've anticipated the questions, you've been able to respond to the questions. I think I'm allowed to permit you to make that statement. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
And so I think that's the open portion of the forum. And if you care to remain while we talk through the final details, attempt to come up with a recommendation to support the effort or not. So I guess I'm in the position to entertain a motion.
Well, you're fortunate that this is a preservation commission and you don't have to jump through a lot of hoops with the state, because that's what we do here. So as Mr. Gibson said, can be somewhat of a bureaucracy. So we've kind of cut through that. And if we think you're good to go, you're good to go. So that's kind of where I am, Mr. Chairman.
I have one question. Sorry.
No,
absolutely. Sure, go for it.
It says, the proposed balcony addition does not impact any historic features. Where is the balcony?
Well, you're in the old minutes, maybe.
Oh, am I in the old minutes?
So you're probably in the minutes
It's my
that we,
first day.
that's for the last building we looked at.
I knew, I started getting them all mixed up. That's why I have 3 piles. Okay, so
Let's see. Balcony.
that makes a lot of.
that clears things up.
Clear as mud. Well, I will make a motion to approve this.
Go for it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this. I will start with Ed for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
And I.
Thank you.
Thank
you, this is exciting.
As they say in
Yeah.
Star Trek, go forth and do good things.
Indeed. Congratulations. Good luck.
We appreciate the support from the commission as well. You know, it's trying to keep as much historical as you can. I mean, that's what you guys do, right? So we appreciate the support, the kind words. We're very excited for the opportunity, and our experiences with the city commission have been phenomenal. And I can tell you, being prepared and everything, the interactions we've had have been top notch. So we really do appreciate the support and the energy and effort that you guys have done as well.
We're all looking forward to it.
To answer your question about the beers on tap, when Leavenworth takes over this area, we're gonna end up having 16 or more taps available. I also sell Kansas wine. So we do wineries in the state of Kansas too. We don't make wine yet.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's coming. Okay.
It's in my house, but I'm not gonna touch it for a while. So, if you have any wineries that you recommend, we do like to change things up every 3 to 4 months. Get people to kind of come in the door, so.
We'll raise a toast to your success.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
Thank you.
It'll be fun.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question on one of the minor certificates of
You
appropriateness,
guys
if
are
I
good.
could.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm unclear about what's happened on 720 South 7th Street. I did not
Thank
see
you.
Thank you.
what that was all about. And-
Okay.
Okay, all right, Michelle's got it.
So, actually, Kim Bateman actually emailed me about that one.
Okay,
I didn't realize that everybody was gonna catch it. So. So you do actually look through them, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, there actually is one that is identical to that is signed.
okay.
So I actually emailed it to you.
It was like, there was nothing with it, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, just sent out a blank one?
Roof replacement.
Was the roof replacement?
Yeah, roof.
Oh, is it a roof replacement?
Yeah,
That's
roof
what it is.
replacement.
Okay, just curious.
So we
'cause-
should have a signed minor certificate, I did forward that to, hey babe, I probably should have sent it all out to you guys, sorry. Or did I not resend it?
Okay.
I don't know.
You sent out a
Sure.
revised.
That's it.
piece.
No, it wasn't under revised. Well, I don't think it was under revised,
Okay.
but anyway, okay.
But
It's
I
just a
did
roof
upload it to
replacement.
the website too,
Okay,
so that
thank
has
you
to
so
go
much.
as well. Well, I'm glad you looked through
Well, yes,
We tried to do our job.
them, you do it well.
to the best of our ability. So we have a list of minor certificates, and usually you can, it's been a process that we don't have to really vote on them.
Okay.
All the information has
Yep.
been presented, so again, it's just for an informational piece.
Yep, and we send those to the state historic office with those, and again, like Rick said, it's just kinda to let you guys know what's been going on in any of the historic districts.
So
So,
see a lot of roof replacements, there's a lot of.
Yes,
Yes.
that's probably our most often,
Yeah.
applied for.
Roofing, yeah, HVAC.
Yeah, roof and HVAC.
Roof replacement is.
Yeah.
HVAC sometimes you
Yeah.
see that also.
so before I entertain a motion to close out the meeting, Rich, do you have anything else to contribute?
Did you get the list of questions I sent you?
I did, and I apologize. I got it right before I was out for a week, and I was something that I was going to address when I got back, and I didn't. So I'm glad you reminded me. Dick had sent me a bunch of stuff that he wanted me to look into, and I apologize. Thank you for reminding me, and I will get to that
Okay.
here. Okay.
Nothing for you?
No, I noticed we have a meeting coming up next month though. Is that correct?
Do we have anything?
I saw a notice in the paper today maybe on a,
I think it might be related to the cooler.
Oh, it's the gazebo.
Yes.
It's a residential property. They're wanting to build a gazebo
I
on this
think,
site.
yeah, it was a it
Yeah.
looked like a residential address, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that will be on Wednesday,
Yes, our normal
meeting day.
first
Okay.
Wednesday of the month. Is it the
You'll
first
send us a nice
Wednesday?
reminder.
3rd of August.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So as always, before we close, I'd like to do my usual standard piece. Thank you both very much. You make the position I hold at this, as part of this commission, pretty much straightforward. Everybody's really, really well informed, and so I encourage you, if you have questions, to call. When she sends out, are we gonna have a quorum? I encourage you to respond as fast as possible. Just.
Everyone here is pretty good about responding.
Okay, and then, but that's really important, because it's a nice reciprocation, and we have a very nice
Well, let's
relationship.
just let the applicant know, let
Yes.
the applicant is thinking we're gonna have one, and then.
Especially around.
I don't
the
think
holiday.
it's ever happened with this board, but some of our other boards, we've had to cancel at the last minute because we haven't ended up with a
Because
quorum.
we strive for non-last minute canceling, because I get a big kick out of the fact that we've got this kind of input. So after thanking you, manners dictate that I can welcome. I think you're gonna enjoy this. There's an immense wealth of knowledge that I'm surrounded around. By here, they tell you to be a good leader, you need to surround yourself with.
That's right.
With good, solid people. So looking forward to all the contributions you're going to make. And of course, on this end, I always have Mr. Rich Gibson, who I just like the stuff that you add to what it is. So I take what I get here to other organizations that I'm working in, and it's really helping in the efficiency. So with that said, I'll entertain a motion to
So moved?
move in.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we adjourn our meeting for the evening at 6:43 according to the clock. Thank you all for your time and your service.
Yeah, thank
Please
you.
go home and spend some time with the rest of your family.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.